Young ladies and gentlemen, good evening once again. Good evening to each and every one of you. Once again, you are warmly welcomed here on your beloved platform, the Awakening of Consciences Forum. The people you see here, the four S's, that I want you to remember this word, this name, one. The four S's, that's what they call themselves. Four European leaders want to speak with Donald Trump as soon as possible before tomorrow's phone call. You know that Donald Trump is scheduled to have a phone conversation tomorrow at 2 p.m. I believe it will be at 2 p.m. GMT. He is supposed to speak with Vladimir Putin tomorrow. So 2 p.m. GMT, so 10 a.m. their time. In the United States, it will be 2 p.m. GMT. So before that, they want to fill his head, to stuff his head, as if he weren't a sovereign president. And as if these presidents then couldn't just pick up the phone and call Vladimir Putin themselves. France is among them. France is at the top of the list. However, President Vladimir Putin has said that communication between Russia and France poses no problem for Russia. It was France itself that cut off the call. But if Donald Trump had the courage to call Vladimir Putin, why can't they do the same? Does the message they want to send to Vladimir Putin really have to go through Donald Trump? No, they don't have a message for Vladimir Putin. A message of peace. They want to remote control Donald Trump. What is the content? What are they thinking about? And who exactly are these European leaders? What is their ultimate goal? Ladies and gentlemen, this is what we are going to discuss in this video conference, which I humbly ask you to share as much as possible, since these shares help us gain more subscribers. Share, and to all the new people, those of you who are coming across my video conference, please subscribe. And always remember to activate the notification bell. Let's dive deeper. Let's look at the official information. First of all, it should be said that Donald Trump announced right after the failure of the Istanbul talks that he was going to speak with Putin. He was going to discuss topics about how to put an end to the conflict in Ukraine. We've already seen Russia. Putin came out and stated his condition. What he declared publicly, he can't go back on over the phone. Maybe that will be on the negotiating table. But tomorrow, we'll see what happens. The Kremlin has also confirmed preparations for a phone call between Putin and Trump on May 19th. The call will follow the Istanbul peace talks and will focus on Ukraine as well as trade. On two fronts. They will talk about Ukraine, then they will talk about trade. Donald Trump never forgets what he loves most. Metasa, Malakai, Dirkwanu, Wali, money. Write the name for money in the comments. What do you call it where you are? So, France, Emmanuel Macron says that he would like him to meet him, that he should first speak with Donald Trump. But according to official information, 4 European leaders want to speak with Donald Trump first before his phone conversation with Vladimir Putin, best tomorrow, Monday. And so, on some of the information that was reported by Reuters refers to the statement made by Friedrich Merz, the new German chancellor, who is very much in the spotlight. This man is going to provoke what Emmanuel Macron was not able to provoke in Europe, because he is going to push Russia. Since we've been here, this is the first time that Russia has decided to launch a test missile with a range of 11,000 kilometers. It's because of him. So the German Chancellor stated that he had discussed the issue with the United States. He says, I spoke with Marco Rubio, the American Secretary of State, particularly about tomorrow's call. We agreed to speak again with the 4 heads of state and the President of the United States as part of the preparations for this meeting. So the 4 European leaders, though, those who currently thought they were at the top, at the summit. But in reality, it's just a group of buddies who do nothing but smoke weed, as they say in Côte d'Ivoire. Weed, even, that's nothing. The nonomoro. They thought they were the greatest leaders in Europe right now. They want to have a conversation with Donald Trump. The goal is clear, to fill his head with ideas. If Putin tells you this, don't accept it. Tell him this, tell him this, tell him this. But Donald Trump is not a child. From the moment Donald Trump arrived, he showed them plain and simple that they are no longer true allies. But they keep trying to force the situation. Let's see first, will Donald Trump even grant them an audience? Well, I don't know if we should call it an audience, but will Donald Trump agree to their request for a phone conversation? Because if such a conversation takes place, it means that it's Europe and the United States of America calling Vladimir Putin. Maranatha, that's powerful. Europe and the United States are joining forces to call back Vladimir Putin, the boss of the Kremlin. But if it happens like that, will Vladimir Putin be pleased? Vladimir Putin might say that the initiative coming from Donald Trump is not genuine. This initiative is tainted by European interference in a matter where the personal initiative to speak to Putin comes from the United States of America. Let's go. Let's go. So, this phone call between the 2 presidents, Donald Trump, is currently being prepared. Here is what the Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov revealed yesterday. He also made the statement to the Russian news agency TASS. According to Donald Trump, the discussion will focus, as mentioned, on the conflict in Ukraine and on trade. He also specified that after this exchange, after the conversation, Donald Trump stated that he intended to speak with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, as well as with several leaders of NATO member countries. So, after all this exchange. But despite all that, Donald Trump still insists. He says he wants to see Putin in person. He wants to meet him face to face. But he doesn't know where or when. So, after the phone call, they will surely talk about it. But is Putin ready to meet Donald Trump face to face? Question mark. Ladies and gentlemen, here are the top international news stories. It is always a pleasure for me to serve you here on the Éveil des Consciences platform. So thank you to each and every one of you. I'll be back with more news shortly. This was the voice of your humble servant, the Samouraï